Time for an update on a story a little bit out of our wheelhouse, but which I have frankly been riveted by and want to bring to all of you. This is about the Call Her Daddy podcast. This is a podcast on Barstool Sports. Now, it has to do, I guess to lay it out from the very beginning, this has to do with the fact that there were two hosts, Alex and Sophia. So all of a sudden, they disappear from the airwaves. They don't appear. 5 weeks later, the head of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, who is he founded the company, appears on their podcast laying out that it's all about this long, distraught, drawn-out contract suit in which one of the hosts, Sophia, is dating an HBO sports executive named Peter Nelson, who apparently engineered this plot in order to take their podcast away from Barstool to another company and go through all these legal hijinks in order to steal the intellectual property, etc. Now, why are we interested in this story? Because I think it's about, A, the drama is riveting. There's reply videos. There's like Sophia has one video. Barstool has its own video. Alex has her video. She is officially coming back, as we saw just there, as the sole host of the Call Her Daddy podcast, a podcast that I do not support and I think is quite degenerate. But beyond all of that,
never listened to it. I don't know.
Beyond that, it is very interesting if you pair it with this Joe Rogan news, which is that it's all about personalities now, the future of media, the way that things are built around. And it shows you that how much both leverage that these personalities are going to have, and in the brands themselves and the way that we're going to have to think about what does the future look like? Does it look like just, we're just straight down the middle reporters, we're doing left and right? Or is it places like this show, places like Joe Rogan and others who are like, this is the view that we come at it? Some people embrace that view. And when we co-sign onto that, it's about the personalities and the perspective that they bring and people who are willing to align themselves with that. And it comes very disaggregated from the broader way that we thought about media in the past.
So let me make sure you've dug into the details on this.
Yes.
I've done a little bit of reading, but I need a little bit of an explainer. So basically the deal is one of the hosts was like, basically, let's stay with Barstool, like we're good where we are.
Correct.
The other host was like, we're not getting what we're worth. Let's take this thing and let's go out somewhere else and get more for what we're doing. And we've become this huge brand, this hugely lucrative thing that is really just comes down to us and our personalities and our storytelling ability and those things. Like, let's take that and go somewhere else where we can capitalize more. That's basically that's basically the dynamic here, right? I mean, what's interesting is, it used to very much be that bigger than almost any personality was the platform on which they were hosted.
Right.
So like when I was first starting it, actually before I even started at MSNBC, Keith Olbermann basically built the MSNBC that we know today as like a, left-leaning liberal network. And he was the biggest thing on there. He's very talented, huge personality, very innovative in the way that he designed his show to mimic kind of like, a sports center and sports type show. So he gets in a fight with MSNBC. He leaves, right? He's the brand. He's the thing. And he thinks I can go somewhere else and people are still going to watch. Goes to Current, disappears.
Gone,
right? No one's watching. No one cares. What's interesting is if that happened today, it wouldn't be the same dynamic.
No, it wouldn't.
He could pop right up on YouTube. Wouldn't even need like a cable channel or network or whatever.
People would watch.
Pop right up on YouTube. People would watch. He'd be able to monetize it just fine. He'd be able to, be successful in that lane, have total control. And the other piece of that you're also getting to here, which is true with Rogan, again, I haven't listened to this podcast, so I can't really speak to what the content is, but when you have that independence also, no one can kind of put guardrails on what you can talk about, how you can talk about it, where the conversation can go, etc. And so there's a more freedom, and that's very appealing to people. I mean, this conversation is sort of unlimited, like no holds barred, that the traditional boundaries and all the caution tape that goes on in mainstream media, because you got to worry about offending this person or that advertiser or whatever, like all of those strictures basically disappear. And that's part of why it's so much more of a compelling product.
Yeah, it's also just interesting from a cultural level. I mean, Ben Smith at the New York Times, he had this column on this weekend where he's talking about the rise of independent journalism and all of that, and how the future of media is people who are famous only to you. And what he means by that, and I see this this in terms of like, there's like, my cousins watch like Minecraft people on YouTube, and like they're obsessed with these guys, and like I would never know who they were.
Yeah.
Is that the ubiquity of fame is probably not a concept that we're going to have as much in America anymore, because with the internet, I mean, people, you know, a group of 100,000, 200,000 people who are all really into like fly fishing, they have fly fishing YouTube celebrities, and these people are like Michael Jordan to them. I've been watching The Last Dance, so I've been thinking a lot about this. And I think that, you know, you can see just in the way that our culture is trending and how it goes towards media, the way that we all consume and live here, it's just very interesting. And I think that this episode in a microcosm shows you both that the utility that a brand can bring, because at the end of the day, like Barstool did build them. Barstool is the one who built them and, you know, gave them the merchandising and became what they were, and also what they were kind of bringing to the table. So it's a fascinating discussion about fame in America, what it means, how personalities are going to interact with brands, and just the future of the way that we all kind of consume our media today. Yeah,
well, having made the transition from cable news, which is more sort of, you know, broadcast, like, like a broad spray approach, versus this, which people intentionally tune in for to hear, you know, specifically how we're going to cover what's going on. It is a much different dynamic in terms of our interaction with our risers out there who watch the show. Like on MSNBC, I was more known, broadly known, but there's a much higher level of intensity here that I've seen. And we hear this too from the regular guests that we have on the show, that they get a lot more sort of heat generated around their comments here than they do when they go on cable news or when they go on other platforms, because of that connection. So you can kind of see in our own, because you started on cable news as well, like in our own experience, how that plays out.
Absolutely. I get recognized far more from this than I ever did cable news. So kind of interesting. All right, anyway, I'm Team Alex, Team Barstool, so there we go.
And I have no opinion, so there you go. Tomorrow on Rising, author Chris Arnatti discusses his insights on America's working class and why academics keep missing the mark in their portrayal of this group, especially the white working class.
Absolutely. And we're going to get an update from the Trump campaign from the virtual campaign trail, as we always do. Please, guys, don't forget to like and share and, of course, subscribe so you never miss a video. We will see you all tomorrow.